I get the same feeling, so I'm coming day and night.
Can you fly, Bobby?
Can't piss on hospitality. I won't allow it.
She's already contaminated by this odd substance.
Jesus wept.
I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, "I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore!"
All right, here we are. We're here talking about the D&D, and it's really late on a Saturday, so no one's watching this right now.
I'm watching it.
That's true.
Look,
we can see the screen. There. Yeah, the screen's up, so that we are viewers of our own stream, which really
and this guy.
Make sure that all the audio is doing good, looking good.
You know what I realized?
What?
So I was on a friend's podcast.
You have dust from
pork rinds.
Pork rinds.
Look.
I'm sorry.
Anyway,
I'm so sorry.
There's nobody in here. It doesn't matter. They didn't see anything. So I was on a friend's podcast.
Hey, YouTube is forever until Elon Musk takes over.
I was on a friend's podcast like a week ago, and I realized I've only really done like shit with you. So I just started off like looking at the camera a lot because I got used to that. And then I was like, this is not that kind of thing. Like they film it for YouTube, but it was supposed to be like a discussion. And I was like, prolonged eye contact. But that should be really cool. It's called Nora's Table Podcast. And I talk about my experiences with having bipolar disorder. Because everyone wants to hear that. Allegedly. I don't have my glasses. Well, my glasses are right there, but
Brian
it gives me a headache. I was getting to it. That's why I was squinting. It was a special. It was a Brian squint. Hello, Brian.
Should probably put the chat box not over you. Just put the chat box right in the middle.
No, please put it over me. Put me on my misery. Let it crush me to death. Anyway.
Wow.
Oh my God! The most important thing about the D&D movie. I got the popcorn bucket.
Oh yeah, she got the popcorn bucket. Hey, if you don't know,
it's invisible right now.
If you have a fucking life and you don't know what she's talking about, AMC theaters have an exclusive popcorn bucket that looks like a D20. And if for some reason you don't know what a D20 is, it's a 20-sided die. I don't know why you wouldn't know.
Why are there two knives?
I don't know.
That's the fake one. And then we've got Senor Bread Knife. I put out the call to action on Facebook and had two people be like, I'll cook get one for you. So my buddy Chase grabbed it for me, and then I sent him his blood money today. So I guess I'll get it eventually. Chase, I don't think you're watching this, but if you are, give me my bucket. Brian, technically, I kind of want to put straps on it and turn it into like a bag. It's like this big.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull it up, but the internet's being a dick again.
Yeah.
Shock and awe.
I know. A lot of people are putting their dice in it. Our buddy Crispy turned them into lights, which was really cool. And then people were like, how did you get so many? I didn't get even one. I'm like, he got like 2 or 3. It's not a big deal. Anyway, we haven't actually talked.
Yeah, I got
ever before. This is the first time we've ever met.
Hi, how are you?
Hey,
I'm Michael.
We Mirror Universe where we shake with our left hands?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm Casey.
I'm Michael. I'm going to shave into a goatee soon. I only look a bit like a child predator if I have a goatee. It's okay. Yeah, we haven't talked about D&D, the movie, yet. I just got home.
Like 4 hours ago.
Which was basically just got home.
But we had to put the baby to bed.
Yeah.
And then I had to play Kirby.
Yeah.
And we played Mario Kart. It was a whole thing. And then the computer wouldn't turn on, and then it wouldn't connect to the internet. So it was incredible. 10 out of 10. No notes. So, Michael.
Yeah.
How did you feel?
I liked it.
End of stream. That's it. That's it. That's the tweet. What are you doing?
Oh, wait. Right here. So, for those who want to know what the D&D bucket looks like, it looks like this. Look at that business. Also, why is my thing not... Oh. Boop. We were flying around the dice. We... Into the bucket we go. Buttery goodness. Huzzah, huzzah.
Like, is it a cash grab? Yes.
Absolutely.
But here's the thing. Well, I told you how much it cost the other night, and then you, like, gave me a look, and then I gestured at the Blu-rays.
I mean, the Blu-rays serve more purpose than a popcorn bucket, but that's beside the point.
I will end your life with the bread knife on this stream.
That's art, man. This is just mass-produced paraphernalia. Man.
Well, those handmade
into the bed, into the bucket we go. Ah, butter. Ah, heart attack.
Oh my god. Anyway,
I need to find out a better way to do this.
yeah, this is a little weird, but it's fine.
You know.
So
yeah, I thought the movie was pretty good. I enjoyed myself all the way through. It's a very dry kind of comedy. It's kind of Brian pointed this out in the Discord. It does, like the trailer, it is very like that meta, dry kind of Marvel style type of humor.
but it's done well.
But it's done very well. It juggles the drama and the action and the comedy pretty nicely, I think. When there's action happening, it does feel like there are stakes, even when it's a morbidly obese dragon. Which is from the lore, by the way.
I just think it looks like our cat.
It does look just like our cat.
All
I could think was Fritz.
No, I turned to Sean and I was like, it's Fritz, and he said yes. So Brian, I have.
Wait, what's 3% knowledge?
Yeah, also clarify that. But here's the thing, like, for the viewers at home. I play D&D every other week and have pretty much played for, like, 4 years at this point?
Something like that.
Pretty much straight.
I don't know. Once you get to a certain age and time just does it.
Yeah. Michael has played a handful of times. But you get so into it. And the people at the place we played at a couple weeks ago really wanted you to come back because you were so much funnier than the rest of us.
Yeah.
You usually are. There are dragons.
Oh, that's one thing I love. Okay, actually, I have something to talk about right off the bat.
I want to bring all my dice in here.
Yeah. So yeah, she has more knowledge. I have less knowledge, but plenty to appreciate the property. And what I love, or not what I love, my one critique right off the bat is that it is one of the most formulaic, like outwardly formulaic movies I've seen in a theater recently. In that the entire time I was thinking about Blake Snyder's Beat Sheet, which if you don't know, Blake Snyder, Rip, he wrote the book Save the Cat, and Save the Cat basically breaks down screenplay structure into 15 beats. And there's a point in the movie where and you see it in the trailer, where they go into this huge cavernous place to get this item they need, and there's a big dragon.
Literally.
And of course, and I would say that, when you think Dungeons and Dragons, when you think of dungeons, that includes places like that, right? Like the cavernous underground or whatever things. And this was right around the time, this is in the chunk of film in the second act called Fun and Games. It's also part of the B story, but B story is kind of part of Fun and Games in a way, even though it's a separate beat. Doesn't matter. And in Fun and Games, one of the primary things you're supposed to do, according to Save the Cat, is deliver on the promise of the movie. Okay. And of course,
it does. Yeah.
It's got dungeons and it's got dragons,
which is more than most sessions.
That's true. Usually you don't even get out of the pub.
So I've been playing, like I said, for years. I have fought one dragon and met one other. And then our poor DM tells me the most dungeony thing we ever did. He mapped it all out, like it had like all of it planned and drawn. We got maybe a quarter of the way into it and blew it up. Like literally, we exploded it, and he was just like, "God damn it!"
Which is another thing that I really liked about this movie, or I guess the first thing I liked about this movie. I haven't actually talked about what I liked, but there are those moments where you can imagine the DM kind of trying to push the party to a certain direction, and then somebody does something fucking stupid. Actually, it opens with that, with them in a dungeon.
Yeah.
In prison, and this is actually, I think this is in the trailer too, where I can't remember their names. Chris Pine and Michelle Rodriguez.
They're gonna probably be spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers.
Gentle. We're not gonna go super into it.
Yeah,
a little bit.
I think we can talk about this pretty succinctly without going into serious spoilers. But let's say like first 2 acts, a hodgepodge of small spoilers. But the opening, before you even get the title screen. Chris Pine and Michelle Rodriguez are in prison, and they go to this
tribunal.
Yeah, this board of people and Dragonborn. And what's the bird guy?
I want to say Erico. I could be lying.
Erico, whatever. These things that are set to say, hey, are you? Can we release you? Like it's a probation board basically, and. What happens is Chris Pine tells this really long story that gives us all the exposition we need, and
with like cutting back to be like, so is this other guy coming? Like,
yeah. And it presents our conflict, our themes. It's
a
nice
his character too.
It's nice and tight, just the way that Snyder wanted it. And then it ends with the tribunal going, well, okay, I guess, and they go to stamp it, and I think we can actually, especially taking into account another thing that's a spoiler, we can see visually that they are about to be set free. And he stamps it just as this bird person comes in, and Chris Pine and Michelle Rodriguez have this very quick, like, beat the guard with potato, grab the bird person, jump out the window, and as they're jumping out the window...
like, you were being released!
The Dragonborn is just like, we were gonna let you go!
And if that's not a fucking D&D moment...
That is 100% a D&D moment.
So, you saw it today, with normies. I saw it...
I mean, I didn't really see it with anyone, but...
You held hands with everyone in the theater.
Yeah. I actually specifically now, whenever I'm in the Dolby or IMAX theaters, I get one of the seats next to the handicapped ones up top, because I'm less likely to sit next to anyone. And more legroom.
Fair. So I went 2 weeks ago because theater had like an early release one of it, and I went with my D&D party. If you want to pull up the photo.
Wait, where? What?
If you ever looked at my Facebook, you would know that you could just like scroll back a little bit. But I went with my D&D party and a couple of extra friends, and our party we all had on matching shirts. And like at the end of the movie, we were taking a picture in front of the poster outside, and I heard people walk by going like, "Oh, their whole party's here." So like we saw it in a very like D&D nerd crowd. So I knew leaving it, I was like, this is pretty biased for how people like it. The theater was just in stitches the whole time because it felt, there were moments where you felt like they were rolling natural ones and just like failing these plans and overcomplicating things, because D&D players absolutely love to both overcomplicate and undercomplicate. That's us. Wow. I can't point. The guy to the right
they
of the
can't
post.
See where you're pointing.
The guy to the right of the poster. That's our DM, Kelsey, and then we're all the idiots that.
Idiots, right here. Idiots.
And Cassie too. And Cassie. She's the one that gave me the cursed dice, but I love.
And here we are in the group with them.
Yeah.
In Spirit.
Well,
Ooh.
I was literally there.
Ooh.
But anyway, yes, we had our shirts have our character names. So anyway, but when that scene happened, we knew immediately, like, oh no, they understood the assignment. They understand this property because it is not a serious game. It can be. We've had some really serious, intense moments, but we've also, like, kicked squid monsters off a ship.
It's mostly dumb bullshit and people being dumb and bullshitting. And that's one reason, like, the comedy aspect didn't bug me. In addition to it just being legitimately funny and being a strong balancing act, is that it feels like a campaign. And, you know, one other negative I have, now I'm thinking about it, is it's not a movie that has a super strong identity.
No.
It is very visually kind of generic. It does try some really interesting things. There's a great, very digitally enhanced oneer. Like, it's like probably 150 shots, some of them completely CGI. But when the tiefling is escaping from where the vault is initially,
Yes,
and like turns into all kinds of animals and is escaping, it's really great. 100, very much obviously not an actual oneer, but the way that they edit these pieces together is really cool.
Yeah.
And totally unnecessary, but just really neat to do. So they do, while the film visually, like lighting wise, color grade wise, is not really, it's very generic. What they are doing within that is pretty cool. And there are some moments that are legitimately just super inspired that you would not expect from your standard Hollywood blockbuster or standard, like, to compare it again, MCU movie. Like, the MCU will do some fun stuff here and there, but there's a lot of imagination at play here, while also, again, being kind of like what feels like a studio mandated, safe looking approach, which not really my cup of tea, but it does pair well with the comedy aspect and the kind of aloofness of it all.
No, I agree. And was really curious to get your take on it, though I did tell you if you didn't like it to not come home. But I'm interested to see people who have never played it before, how they feel about it. I'm going to see it again with a friend of mine who has never played ever before tomorrow. So that'll be really interesting to see what she thinks. Because you at least have, like, a basic idea, A, from, like, you're playing, and B, when I come home at 10:30 on Wednesday nights, be like, you'll never guess what we did at D&D tonight.
It's going to take my melatonin right now.
Though, a quick sidebar, the friend I'm going with tomorrow, we now have a running thing where the movies we go to together are movies that I know a lot about and that she has no point of reference for. Because the first movie we went to together was Spider-Man No Way Home.
Oh my God.
And so we'd been in the theater for, like, a while at this point, like, chatting, and then the trailers start, and she turns to me and she's like, I've only ever seen the first Spider-Man. Is that okay? And I was like, what? Stephanie, what? You're telling me this right now? Like, that's like a decade of movies.
And of course it's the movie where they're all...
No, I know. It was so funny. And then Green Goblin shows up and she leans over and she was like, that's Gobby. He's from the animated one. Because
the kids show.
We have, our sons are the same age. And I was like, what the fuck? So tomorrow she's going into this having never played Dungeons & Dragons. See how she likes it.
I'm
she
sure,
likes most things.
I imagine she's gonna lean over. Is it okay if I've never seen Lord of the Rings?
I think she's a nerd. She has like a whole Studio Ghibli, like,
Studio Ghibli doesn't count.
Counts a little.
I'm gonna gatekeep like a motherfucker right now. Okay, so I guess the most curious thing I had a stroke just now. My biggest curiosity here is, was there anything that you did not like or had negative criticism toward?
It was formulaic. I didn't give a shit. I did not give a shit. honestly, I think I agree. I think you said in the Discord that as like a movie, or no, not you, someone else said, as a movie it's 7 out of 10, but as a D&D movie it's 10 out of 10.
Yeah, that's a reasonable way to put it. Yeah.
I need to put my glasses on. I'm gonna be reading the chat. God, they're so dirty. Oliver has touched it so many times.
Oh yeah, give it a like, everybody. Thank you for the like. These stuff of nightmares. Did you changed your name? Pretty sure, unless it's just a common way to do usernames. Whatever.
Yeah, no. So it was I had so much fun.
Okay, we're back.
Are we?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Hello. Can you hear me? Yeah, there we are. No, yeah, so a couple times, like, the theater laughed so hard, we couldn't hear dialogue. Which usually bugs me, but...
Oh my god, the Chris Pine.
Oh, with the glit. That was so... Like, that's not how it works. But it's not how it works.
There are a few things here where they do bend the D&D rules a little bit. Like the owl bear thing. Which no
cares?
like
who fucking
no
cares?
one worth living cares.
That was a lot.
No one worth breathing. And being above ground right now.
She was like
gives a shit if a fucking.
She was like a god tier druid because I don't think you can wild shape that much. Yeah. Like there are limits for how many times you can wild shape because I think it's a spell slot. But I mean, druid. I'm used to playing a warlock. I have like half a spell slot, so that would have been fun if there'd been a warlock because they only do one spell. Eldritch Blast, Eldritch Blast, Eldritch Blast, Eldritch Blast, Eldritch Blast. If you want to get into the semantics, but I liked that it felt accessible for people who haven't necessarily played. Like maybe not the jokes aren't as funny, but you can follow the story. But there are some that bit was so fucking funny.
Oh my god, and it's so much better than in the trailer too.
Yeah. And it is exactly what would happen at a table.
That was yet another like, god damn it.
Because that was very much the DM punishing players for not using a character voice or not knowing the rules.
Yeah.
Not like mean punish, but like okay, you guys want to be stupid. Start digging.
Yeah, that was definitely. Why is it in credits order? That's annoying. Justice Smith, is that his name? Fucking. Oh, there it is.
Simon was so
Justice
good.
Smith in that scene. He's definitely the DM. Absolutely.
Yeah. Like, why did you say okay? That bit was so good. I love a gelatinous cube.
Yeah, I like the use of the gelatinous cube.
That was so... and...
Would that work?
Maybe. The DM could rule of cool it. There are a lot of rule of cool. Like, this, sure, go for it. See how the dice, I guess. I mean, literally.
They were rolling strong throughout a lot of that movie.
No, they were rolling very poorly through a lot of the movie, but then one person would get a nat 20. Like, it was very, and I liked the potato thing with Michelle Rodriguez's character because a lot of players end up having like a very dumb thing their character does. It's like their character trait. And that was hers. And it just felt like something like that someone did at the table once, drunk.
Yeah.
Or whatever, and then they just did it.
Also like the redacted cameo moment with the Michelle Rodriguez's former husband.
I'm obsessed.
Ex-husband, that's the word.
I'm obsessed with the halfling kink that she has. And that he has the opposite. And, oh, man.
It's very funny. But that's also one of those things where I could imagine a DM putting that in, or I could imagine the player saying, like, my character's really into halflings. Yeah. She fucks just little guys. And then the DM the night before, I'm just going to write this in here.
Yeah. It was, I put it on Facebook, so I'll see if anybody commented. And Kelsey asked if we talked about our shenanigans, and I said yes. Oh, it's just so good. I'm very excited to go see it again tomorrow. Yeah, it was so good. Like, I came home really pumped.
You came home extremely pumped, yeah.
I don't remember the last time I had that much fun.
I'm really excited for you to watch the first Dungeons and Dragons movie.
I can't wait. Oh, no, I had a point. I was getting to a point. So it's accessible for people who've never played the game, but it also had Easter eggs for people that have played a lot and get really into the lore. Simon's great-grandfather is... So that... I love D&D. Lore is not my strong suit. But I was sitting next to my friend Harrison, who is like an encyclopedia about it. And Harrison got so excited because that is like a character in the lore. Sean as well, like we talked about it in the car, and he kind of explained it a little bit better than the movie, because the movie didn't explain who he was. But basically, he's just like an NPC.
That's something I really liked, is that it doesn't, like, it presents these elements in such a way that this isn't a problem, but it doesn't really explain anything that isn't really necessary.
Right.
Like the my brain is blanking, but the box.
The mimic.
Yeah, the mimic.
Yeah.
Like, there's no explanation. No one refers to it as a mimic. It's just, that's a box with teeth.
No, I didn't even think about that. Like, it's a treasure chest that then tries to eat you. The theater lost their shit. And was anyone in it with you when you went today? Like, did anyone laugh?
It was a pretty
just you?
Full theater. People laughed. I wouldn't say that it was uproarious for the most part.
Ours
With the
was.
Chris Pine thing did destroy, but...
Bro, I couldn't breathe. I was dying. And usually that kind of stuff doesn't hit it, like, in movies. But it's just, it was so well paced. It was really well paced. Also, no spoilers. Roger
Jean Page. Just say it with an offensive French accent. Cancels everything out.
Does it?
It's okay. He's not French.
Okay, but Simon from Bridgerton.
Well, but if you call him Simon from Bridgerton, there's also a Simon in this, played by Justice Smith.
Yeah, but
And weirdly, his full name in the film is Simon from Bridgerton.
Anyway, so Simon from Bridgerton, I really love his role in this. Again, no spoilers. He played it very well. Because it's not really a spoiler, like the class that he is, right?
No, it's not a spoiler.
So he's basically playing a paladin who are very righteous, noble, and serious. And he was so goddamn
He played
good.
it.
He was so good. He was so good.
And he's that second act character who the protagonist meets, who helps them along on their journey, both literally and figuratively. And he fucks well.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
No spoilers.
No spoilers.
Michael immediately spoils the entire thing. I love the red. I'm tired. Wizards, red sorcerers.
The Red Wizards, yeah.
The red, yeah. Like, there was good setup. They were scary.
Yeah, Daisy Head, by the way, have not seen her in anything else. She has a very small... She might have, like, more of a TV filmography. I don't know. But she, like, is a really strong baddie in this.
Well, and she is very much... she reminded me of the NPCs in game where, like, everybody except for maybe the party failed their insight checks because she's obviously very evil. Obviously.
Yeah.
And the party's like... But everyone's like, oh, look, she's just quirky.
Yeah.
Which is so, it's just on brand, because sometimes you come across someone, you're like, you are a bad guy. Hugh Grant, he was perfect. No notes. I love the fact he obviously, no idea the source material. Didn't give a shit. Was just having a good time, just flouncing around in pretty clothes. And making probably a sweet paycheck. He was great. The little kid in this was great.
Oh yeah,
she was really good.
Kira,
yeah.
Daisy Head, Sophina, she's from Shadow and Bone.
And Sandman.
Oh, and Sandman.
You need to watch that, dude.
I do need to watch that.
You'd like it.
I'm just very bad at TV. Watch all of Poker Face. Very good.
Our psychiatrist also likes it.
We share a psychiatrist.
We do.
We're good people.
But not at the same time.
Not at the same time, no.
Are we in a poly relationship with our psychiatrist? I'm just kidding. Sydney, if you're watching
We have a poly-psychiatric relationship.
Please don't drop us. You're the best I've ever had.
I love my drugs.
No, everyone was just so good. They were so good. Brian, damn fucking straight.
Yeah. Why is my chat box not showing up? What the fuck is this? God damn. I try the simplest things. Sorry, because the internet's being a dickhole.
It's okay.
Whatever.
They can read. Yeah, I mean, is some of the stuff cringe? Probably. Who gives a shit? Like,
I want to. You know what? I'll say it. Unless you cringe at plot beats being followed very strictly, I don't know that there's any real cringe. There is. This isn't a humor cringe, but there was a moment where, and I will say this in the least spoilery way I can, a character is having a flashback to a moment in the past. I don't know how to put it. And
it's just what a flashback is.
Another character looks at him straight in the eyes and tells him basically his arc in the movie. Just looks like goes next to the window, thing flutters out. She looks at him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I had the most like, come on, guys, I get it. Yeah. I get it.
That's fair. But if that's the only like major criticism,
that's good. That's good. The worst thing this does is be mainstream, which
it needed to be.
Because like I can imagine the studio notes like, we cannot spend $200 million on this film without a very clear story that the audience can fucking get. I need a fucking 3-year-old to be able to understand what the shit is going on in this movie. Yeah. And then the guy from Freaks and Geeks who directed it is like, yes, sir. I just want this opportunity. Ah.
I really love that you could tell watching it that it was made by people that play. And I think that makes a really big difference in any piece of media if it is created from a place of love for the source material. You don't have to follow it to a T. You know, you can put your own spin on it. Like The Last of Us felt like it was made with love. This was I came home and I told you, I was like, that was a love letter to Dungeons and Dragons.
There's Easter eggs everywhere. There's the rust monsters, I think.
The cats.
The guys that eat rust or eat metal, I guess.
Oh, yeah. Like the brief shot of them.
Yeah, there's like this overhead shot and you just pass by these two, what look like rats, fighting over a rusted padlock.
They also pulled creatures that I wouldn't necessarily have expected them to. Like in the big fight, without spoiling, they used displacer beasts, which
the tentacle boys,
the cats with the.
Well, that's in the trailer, yeah.
I know, yeah, but fuck them.
Those things are horrifying.
They're a pain in the ass. But like they're really cool, but they're very challenging.
Oh, and I did not know this. I saw this later, but it goes so far with the Easter eggs that the group of characters from the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon show up, and I remember in the theater I was like, these look like really specific.
They did.
These are out of place. They're so specific.
I knew that, or I figured that they were a reference to something because the theater lost their goddamn minds the first time we saw them.
God, they got a lot of nerds in there.
Bro, it was intense. It was like, I felt like I was at Dragon Con. Like, that's what the vibe was.
Good Lord.
It was like everyone got every reference. Everyone in that theater got every reference. It was electric. But no, it was so, they really did. They stood out because they were not dressed in the same, like, fantasy style.
I guess that was during preview screenings too, where it was a more specific time slots.
Yeah, well, that was the only time.
Yeah. Yeah, preview screenings.
Whole week, yeah. Well, that's what I said at the beginning, that it was like a preview with just a bunch of D&D people. Because like a normie's not going to be like, I would like to see the Dungeons and Dragons movie 2 weeks before everybody else. We wanted to see it. We skipped the game. Like,
oh yeah, it was just on their D&D night.
Yeah, so we didn't play. We went out to dinner, and then we watched a movie, and then we almost ran over a pregnant woman trying to get a group picture in front of the pictures because they were digital.
Good Lord.
We did great. We did great. We got the shot though, and she's fine probably. You can see her in the back of the selfie.
That's fine.
Sean, I noticed that. I was like,
and the blood is spurting out, but it's okay. It's a phone pic, so you know, and it was the front camera, so.
Oh, and I almost, rain fell when we were running across the hall to try to get the picture, and they were flat on their back, and I was like simultaneously trying to help them up and get them moving. So I'm just like dragging a party member across the aisle of like a movie theater hallway. But they didn't have a standee. We were super mad. Like we wanted a picture with the standees, but it was a preview. They didn't have the stuff up yet.
Do you think it would be fine? I don't remember the guys who made this, but wouldn't it be great if I could take this off and it was a flask? Just...
For water?
Yeah. Well, no, I could put coconut water in there.
You could put coconut water.
But then I have to refrigerate it.
Oh, thanks, Cam.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Cam. Aw.
Do you play the Dungeons and Dragons too? Also, Michael said the lighting looks really good.
Thank you, Cam. I appreciate that. It's the chat box is less in my. Oh
Jesus,
God, there it
what?
is. I made it in a little anime girl because I thought that was funny.
All right, whatever floats your boat.
So if y'all want the anime girl to come back up, give us money through the YouTubes. Thank you so much, Ken. We will do more shows like this in this lighting. Just for you. Just for you and just for you.
Can we move her?
No.
God damn it.
No, she stays there.
I'm burying her.
She's part of my legacy.
I am burying her with
you. At my funeral, they're gonna.
She goes with you.
Yeah.
We do not go together. I will be in a separate hole.
My goal
away from the head.
My goal is when I die, I want one prop from every movie I made buried with me. And so I want it to be so much they have to dig like 10 feet down to fill it all.
Bro, where are we getting the fucking money for this?
This is a very lucrative future.
I love Will Butrin, Michael. He's so optimistic.
And yet I think about death all the time.
Well, it's hard not to. Everything is existential. Puss in Boots, Succession.
Yeah.
That came for my jugular.
Top Gun Maverick was even a bit existential.
I've still never seen it. I've never seen a Top Gun.
It's the only movie from our movie night that Roger hates.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I know. But anything else that you in particular would like to say about the D&D?
I brought my cursed dice and I had them in my bag in the hopes that the energy in the theater would make them less cursed. I swear to God. I have not had a chance to test them out yet, so we don't know.
We'll find out.
But those dice literally almost killed me the first time I used them, and they were a Christmas present from another party member. And she was like, I'm so sorry.
They spilled out from the bag onto the pavement as she was walking across a parking lot, and she fell and was in a coma for a full week.
No, can I talk about the character I play in my current campaign? I'm going to.
Yeah, okay.
Guys, I love her. So right now I'm playing a halfling artificer named Poppy. She is an empty nester who, after her last child moved out, she had 7 of them. She went on her eat, pray, love journey around the world and then got trapped in the city and is now an adventurer with a giant battle toad she rides, and he shoots potions. His name's Jimmy. We love Jimmy. In Jimmy we trust.
See how the D&D movie gets it right.
Well, and that's... Absolutely, because the characters are ridiculous. And one thing, if you're around D&D for more than like 5 seconds, the first character you play is going to be very serious. You put like a lot of thought and effort into it. And then every character you make after that just they get more shitposty. Like, they just, because you got to have fun with it. They get really weird. And I love that. You can tell who's played for a while where they're just like, I have no strength whatsoever. I am just a noodle. A noodle person. I want to be a noodle person. That sounds great.
Yeah. So yeah, overall, even, didn't particularly care for the generic aspects of it, generic cinematography, not even cinematography, the generic lighting.
The trailers were really good. The last one was good.
Well, yeah, the trailers were good. But the movie itself, very generic lighting and very by the numbers script. I'm not a fan of that. And that doesn't mean I don't like a movie for following beats. Most movies do. It's just when they are very, very obvious about it to the point where you can guess what's going to happen very easily. That bugs me. And that's the one negative. The big negative is that. But other than those two things, I really didn't have any issues. The actual camera movement and like planning out of shots and the way that they, especially with the tiefling, like her stuff is always the most like imaginative, crazy bullshit.
Yeah. She was awesome.
She was awesome. There was a bunch of like really imaginative, stitched together oneers, much better looking than I'm used to, because usually it's almost like Alfred Hitchcock's Rope, where it's just like, oh, we gotta continue this oneer. Let me go into this guy's back. Okay, black screen cut. All right, let's bring it back in. And this was not like that. I was actually finding it challenging to find all the stitch points. Helps that there was a shitload of CGI happening, but the CGI also really strong.
It was.
I don't think there was any CG in there that stood out as particularly bad.
The creatures looked really good.
The creatures looked great.
Which is hard to do. I would say maybe the mimic looked fake.
Yeah.
But that's because it was a treasure chest with teeth.
Yeah, it's a very cartoony concept.
I don't know how you really make that super realistic, but the displacer beasts were fucking perfect.
Yeah. I would say nothing is hyper realistic, but
they had a style and they stuck to it and it worked.
And what really helped was there's a shitload of practicals in this movie. Like there's a scene where the paladin, Zinc, they introduce him by having him pull, what's a cat person called?
Tabaxi.
A tabaxi.
I don't know why I said it like that. I couldn't remember the word. He
pulls a tabaxi child, like toddler, out of a giant fish's mouth and gives it to its mom. And they are both 100% practical. And I guess the kiddo is a full animatronic, and then the mom or whatever.
But they didn't put prosthetics on a baby.
That'd be amazing. And then the mom is like someone in a suit with like both prosthetics and then.
She was going to the Jellicle Ball afterwards.
Yeah. And it, like, I was like,
what? It looks really good.
It was insane because you would, like, I cannot imagine Marvel doing that.
No, they would never. Marvel doesn't have the fucking balls.
Yeah, like, there's a ton of moments where I was like, that could have just been CGI, but you didn't do that. There's, like, a lot of practical sets. Like, set design is great.
It felt tangible. Everything in it, including the magic, felt really tangible.
Yeah.
And I loved that it got brutal when it needed to be. That, you know what I'm, at the end,
Oh, that. Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Which was cribbed from a very popular Many Much Money Dollars film, but I actually liked it better in this.
It was so funny.
It was so good.
It was so fucking funny because it was very unexpected.
Yeah.
Because up until that point, like it was the movie can be kind of brutal, but not.
Yeah, it's more like it's usually funny when it's brutal, like the skeleton in the gelatinous cube. And in this instance, it's one of those moments.
It's just violent.
It's another one of those like it feels like Players where it's just like, okay, we've got to get out of this situation. Let's just fucking go.
Yeah.
And it was a nice little surprise to see something where, and it's funny because like the characters have like kind of like that motto at the start.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, fuck that.
Yeah, no. The setup was all really good. It was just, yeah, I think genuinely my only complaint is that it was really predictable.
Yeah.
I didn't care. I did not care at all that
I
it was
cared a little
predictable.
bit.
But that's the difference. Like,
if you're a huge D&D nerd, amazing. If you are someone who likes D&D, but also is really tired of formulaic bullshit,
it's
good, really
though.
good.
What did you give it on Letterboxd?
I give it a 3.5. Because I just didn't feel like it was quite a 4-star movie. Just because it, again, like I kept getting taken out by it because it felt like a number was popping up every time it entered a new beat. And it just really bugged me.
That's fair.
Not to the point of disliking the film, but to the point where I was taken out and I was just like, huh, okay, well then this has to, end around this point in the film, and then, oh yeah, that ends around this point in the film. This character's going to just fuck off. That character fucks off. It's just so by the numbers. And again, I think that's probably like from studio notes more than likely.
They're probably terrified of this concept.
Oh yeah. So I'm very excited since this is doing really well already in its first proper weekend of release. I'm really excited to see a sequel, and see them kind of able to free shit up a little bit and be a little bit more loosey-goosey, ideally. Hopefully the studio doesn't take this as more formulaic. Hopefully they let the filmmakers just go a little bit more bananas.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're saying the CGI artists weren't rushed to finish 20 projects on like another studio? Yeah, I mean, I'm sure. I don't think Paramount has as many big CGI blockbusters happening any given year. But yeah, they seem. I mean, it was consistent enough that I imagine the FX guys did not have too bad of a time.
I haven't heard a lot of negatives about this movie so far from people that have seen it. It's not like it just technically came out yesterday.
Yeah, technically.
But I'm in some Dungeons and Dragons Facebook groups. Because it's the coolest person I've ever met. And overall,
note some, not one. Some. Big plural. Look.
They got really, really good memes. All right. Though right now it is all about the fucking popcorn bucket. I'm gonna have to mute it, I think, for a little bit because it is just the popcorn bucket. That's all people care about. The popcorn bucket. I'm excited about it. Thank you again. I don't know why I looked up there. That's not the camera. Thanks, Chase. But fucking Asia, I think, was it Thailand? I don't remember which country got it. Someone got.
I'm pretty sure it was Thailand because I said I would go to Thailand for you.
Yeah, a Dice Tower soda cup. I want that. I want that so bad.
I'll still go to Thailand for you.
I tried to buy it on the website. It's like, we don't ship to your country. And I was like, fuck you.
I've heard great things about Bangkok.
Whatever. Yeah, so I'm excited to go see it again tomorrow. I don't rewatch movies. It's against my religion of being very neurodivergent and struggling to rewatch things. But I'm excited to go see it again tomorrow.
Dank. Fam.
I am tired just thinking about leaving the house. Again, I did so many things yesterday. I did 4 things yesterday.
That's a lot for you.
That is 4 more than I usually want to do. And two of them were out in the sun. The sun, Michael.
I know it's
in the sky.
It's tough out there.
I touched dirt. Did I tell you we got to plant a strawberry plant?
No.
Yeah, the guy thought Oliver was charming and let us plant a strawberry plant in the garden. So that was really cute. But I'm tired and dehydrated.
Yeah, I think we're gonna end this now because it's 9:41. I'm getting up with the kiddo, and my melatonin should be kicking in any second now. And I still gotta do my.
I have to transfer laundry. Is it only one load in the dryer?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. It can live there till tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, it might be a good idea to go out there and just like give another go because there was a lot of stuff, so it might not have dried fully.
This is what people do.
This is how we get more $20 donations right here.
Like, let's talk about our laundry room and the fact that the washing machine we can't use because it floods our bathroom.
Yep.
But we're getting that fixed this month?
Maybe.
I don't know. Any
I'm sure I'll think of something else to say about D&D after this, but
I've never thought I'd hear you say those words. Like,
but you know, maybe we can do another live stream, not specifically about D&D, but maybe just a general. We do need to talk about The Last of Us again.
And Succession.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm going to see D&D in my Succession time. Fuck. Stephanie, I love you. I know you don't watch this, but
it's okay. I got a lot of work to do.
We'll watch it on Monday.
Okay.
Maybe Monday we can stream after we talk. I just had a stroke. It's contagious. We could talk Succession. We could talk The Last of Us. We could talk Puss in Boots, and we could talk Dungeons and Dragons. Because I'll have seen it with someone who identifies more as normie than us. She's a nerd. But we are worse. We are so much worse. We are fucking terrible.
Anyway, yeah, thanks for watching this stream where a married couple talks about the Dungeons and Dragons movie.
With two knives.
With two knives. This has been With Two Knives with Michael and Casey.
I hate it. It's like our wedding. Where it's just like, remember the like mortar and pestle and the skull that Sean had us hold? He's like, people never know what to do with their hands, so hold a skull and a conch shell. Anyway.
Go watch a movie. That got a little fucked up.